I mean, I like the Jays here a lot, but at minus 175, you got to go Jays run line here, which maybe is not a bad bet. So I almost just want to put like 8 bets on the card and see what happens. I probably won't do that, but I feel like you got to go back to the Jays. They've been great at home. They're the better team. They gave one away last night, so I wouldn't mind the Jays on the run line here.
I will say from a macro standpoint, a bunch of dogs won last night.
Yeah.
Like, there were some wild games. So, like, it makes me think that, like, a favorites day is coming. Like, I understand that it's not rooted in logic, but, like, here's an example of some of the game. Like, the Mets beat the Phillies once again. I don't know what it is about the Phillies at Citi Field, but they did not play well there.
Weird.
The Twins beat the Blue Jays. The Pirates won over the Cardinals. The Rockies won 6-1 over the Astros. I almost played that in some capacity. I think the Astros were like minus 320 or something. So I think it was just one of those weird days in baseball where it makes me want to go big on favorites today.
I think that's actually a good point. I mean, like you said, there's not real logic behind it, but eventually we see the positive regression, right? I mean, it's baseball. We're going to have the dogs have their days. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when you have that happen, you think, okay, maybe this is when the favorites start playing the way they should play. And I don't say it was a bad beat for me, but when it comes to the Jays in particular, I think I'm talking myself into going back here. And there are some favorites I liked. This is not my favorite day on the card, but I think your point is well taken, which is, generally the better teams win the majority of the time. So if you're coming off a day when they didn't get it done, maybe this is the time.
Yeah, and to add to that, like, the A's have been beating the Tigers. So I was looking at that game today, and it's like, okay, do I look at this A's team and say, okay, Chelsa, we've seen them. They're pretty scrappy at home, but I really like Casey Mize. He's 12-4, 3.68 ERA.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of games that I like, but I'm not in love with. So, like, let's try to narrow it down, Jenks. Are there any games that you know are making the card for you?
I don't know. Maybe the Rangers, even though, Nathan Eovaldi was going to go, so I handicapped this game yesterday. I'm all over Texas, and now he's not going to go. So maybe I need to relook at that one again.
Heartbreak.
I may still go with it. Yeah, I am going to talk I mean, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer. And then, God, I'm looking at the prices here. I'm not crazy about this. I will say, okay, here's a game I do like. I may bet. I may go Braves Marlins over 8. Right now the total is set at 8.5. I think I'm going to play it down to 8. So we saw this same matchup 3 weeks ago. That was a 7-1 Marlins win, and we got the same pitchers, same ones going in this one. Joey Wentz for the Braves. Very successful in that game. A single run over 5 1/3, but I also think he has blow-up potential as well. Last time out against the Mets, 6 runs in 3 1/3 innings. Ryan Gusto is going for the Marlins. 3 runs over 6 innings when he faced the Braves in that game. But then he followed that up by giving up 5 runs over 6 innings against the Jays. So I think when you look at these bullpens, neither of them are great. So we could see some runs late. I would go over. And also, I will say, the Braves have quietly been playing some decent baseball lately. So I wouldn't mind the Braves on the money line either.
I think anytime the starting pitchers have ERAs of 5 and you can get an 8 as a total, I think it's a solid play. Like, I'm not in the camp of routinely trusting the Braves and the Marlins.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not going to talk you off of it. I think for me, the teams that are probably going to make the card is probably going to go with the Brewers in some way. The Diamondbacks, we've seen it. They're scrappy. They can score some runs.
Yeah.
Did you consider the over today? Because I think Quinn Priester kind of ruins that for me because he's been really good. Ryan Nelson is a better starter than what we had yesterday. Total of 8.5 in that game. I think I am going to go with the Brewers. Maybe. See, the first 5 run line, normally I would play, but the Diamondbacks statistically are the best first 5 team in baseball. So, like, it's one of those games where you have, arrows pointing in different directions. You could also make a case for the Tigers today, I think. It's really hard to sweep a series, and the A's have been putting the beat down on the Tigers. You could probably make a good case for the Cubs again. But they lost to the Giants yesterday. So I don't think I'm going to have a big card. In fact, I'm probably going to play one bet, and I still haven't even decided on what it is.
I'm going Brewers. I just decided just now. Just now
Sold.
now I'm going to do it. Sold. I mean, you're right about the Diamondbacks are really good in the first 5. But if even if the Brewers are trailing early, the Diamondbacks bullpen is one of the worst pens like in the National League. Like, you can really score on Arizona late. We saw a high-scoring game yesterday. That was the one bet I did have hit, which I like the over in that game, and I might look at that again today. But I think the Brewers are a solid pick, and I'll shop around and find a better price, I think. But you can find it. I'm looking at it right now, minus 155. Here's one for minus 152, so minus 149. So, yeah, I'll be in the Brew Crew. Why not?
I think especially at that price. Like, I think we talk about value a lot on this show. When you can get the best team in baseball at home at a solid price, I think you do it, especially with Quinn Priester. Like, again, I feel like he's a pitcher that's undervalued. He has the same numbers as some of these other better pitchers, but he just doesn't have the brand recognition of some of these other guys. So maybe the Brewers will make the card for me as well. I want to talk about this Phillies-Mets game for just a second. I was watching this game yesterday, and what an entertaining series it's been. Like, maybe if you're not a Phillies fan, but I'm kind of leaning towards the over in this one. I don't know what it is about divisional opponents, but maybe it's because they play each other so much, is that you get used to seeing the same pitchers over and over, and the bats have been hot. This was a very back-and-forth affair last night between the Phillies and the Mets with a bunch of home runs. I was trying to get Blake to model the swing of some of these players because, Blake just started softball. So I was doing, another level of parenting, 2 birds, 1 stone. I get to watch a game and I get to, teach her softball. But I do think this one kind of trends toward an over. Taijuan Walker has been good, but not lights out. Nolan McLean has good numbers, but it's a small sample size for the Mets. 2-0 with a 1.46 ERA. I was kind of surprised that the Mets are favored in this game, though, because we have seen the Phillies favored in every game of the series, and the Mets have won. I don't know if the Mets can sweep, so I'm kind of torn on this one. But if you want an entertaining series, this is a meaningful one, too, because the Phillies' lead in the NL East is dwindling. And obviously, it's a head-to-head matchup, so the Mets are gaining ground. Phillies entered this series with a 7-game lead. Now it's down to 5. So every game in this series absolutely matters.
Here come the Metropolitans. It's strange to me that the Mets are favored here, honestly, with Walker on the mound. Like, I think this is a good
by
chance
that much.
Yeah.
Minus 150?
Right. That's what's crazy to me. If you're talking, okay, Mets minus 120, minus 115, okay. But I think it's just because there's something about Philly playing at Citi Field, because pitching-wise, I feel like when you have a big body of evidence when you're talking about Taijuan Walker, then you give the edge to the Phillies there. But there is something about Philly on the road at Citi Field. Their bats just go ice cold. But I don't understand this price. This seems, as good as the Mets have been in this series against the Phillies, this feels like a pretty punitive price to pay.